Hi everyone, today I'm going to tell you about the movie weekend trip. Beth comes for the weekend from London to Croatia to visit her best friend, which she has helped to get to by the local cab driver Zane, who also left his card in case she needs a cab. Kate's friend herself rents a swanky apartment for the occasion on her ex-husband's credit card, but more on that later, and for now the girls are drinking champagne and Beth gives Kate a black onyx necklace she bought online. One bead immediately falls off of it. After chatting with Beth's husband Rob, who stayed in London with their little daughter, the girls go out. On the way they meet Kate's landlord Sebastian, who tells her that she's now splurging on her ex-husband Jay's credit card, who she caught cheating on her, and is now having a lot of fun with other guys. Beth, on the other hand, says that she and her husband have a complicated relationship at the moment, and there hasn't been intimacy in a year. So when it turns out that Kate's ex did block her credit card, she pays the bill herself, telling her friend that she'll pay her back at the bar, where they should definitely get a boyfriend. The girls are taken to the bar by Zane, who casually tells them that he fled the war in Syria here, to which Beth replies that she once helped Syrian refugees with resettlement. At the bar, however, the friends do meet a couple of handsome men, who also treat the girls to cocktails themselves, after which Kate suggests that everyone continue partying at her place. Beth wakes up the next day, at lunchtime, completely unconscious. She sees traces of the party in the apartment, but she can't find her friend and she doesn't answer her phone. Rob asks his wife if they had a fight during the night and concludes that if they didn't, her friend will probably show up soon. Beth goes to Sebastian's, but he has not seen Kate that morning either, but reminds him that it is against the rules to bring guys to the apartment overnight, so she will have to pay a fine on arrival. The girl goes to the police, but Detective Pavich informs them that they will deal with the missing person only in 24, as the promiscuous friend will probably show up herself. Then Beth calls Zane, talks about Kate's disappearance and asks to take her to the bar where they were sitting yesterday, and upon arrival at the place, unsuccessfully tries to learn something from the bartender, until suddenly the cab driver helps her in this. This is how she discovers that the two guys were just local escorts for Matteo and Luca. Apparently hired by her friend, Beth calls her husband at night and warns him that she will be delayed in Croatia because she needs to deal with her friend's disappearance. He doesn't like the idea, though. And later, via social media, she finds the very same escorts, which she informs Zane about. The cab driver pretends to be a client and makes an appointment at a cafe, where they find out that it was Kate who introduced Beth to Rob, and when Matteo and Luca appear, they recognize the girl and run away at once. One of the escorts is caught up by Zane and he tells them that they parted with Kate, who hired them, at 3 in the morning, taking her purse, which the accomplices pawned and never saw her again. Beth picks up her friend's purse with a dead phone and goes to the police with it, where Zane asks them not to mention him in parting so he won't get in trouble with his visa. The detective is surprised to learn that her colleague had not taken a missing girl report the day before, and takes the case, sending Beth for a medical examination first to make sure she was not drugged or raped. The girl calls Kate's ex Jay, but he reports that he has not spoken to her for 2 weeks, so her friend was arguing on the phone with someone else in the restaurant, and also says that this sudden disappearance is in the spirit of Kate. So there's no reason to get excited. Returning to the apartment, Beth learns that her lease is up and new tenants will be moving in soon. However, Sebastian offers to let the girl stay in his other apartment until she finds her friend and gives her a room downstairs. At night, Beth is going on another search for Kate, but her husband suddenly arrives, saying he left his daughter at home with a babysitter. The cabbie leaves, and Rob scolds his wife for going to get in the car with possibly her friend's potential kidnapper. But when Beth's nerves give out, he comforts her, and soon the couple learns that Kate has been found. The girl's corpse was found in the water, but it is impossible to know if she drowned herself or if she was murdered without an autopsy. Beth stays in the city to await the results on her friend, and her distraught husband returns to London. In the evening, the girl asks the detective to take her to the morgue, to say goodbye to Kate, and when she is alone with her, unlocks her smartphone using her friend's face, from which she later unexpectedly learns that Kate was arguing on the phone with Rob in the restaurant. Also in the smartphone turns out to be a love correspondence between Beth's husband and Kate, in the finale of which the latter insisted that Rob leave his wife. The next news turns out to be that the same drug was found in both girls' blood, and that Matteo and Luca have an ironclad alibi for the time of the murder. Bar patrons saw the girls fighting. Although Beth recalls that they quarreled over continuing the party in the apartment with the two boys, she becomes one of the suspects. The girl tells Zane about everything and guesses that Kate could have slipped the drug to her in order to provoke her friend's cheating, after which her husband would have left her. And when Rob calls her, she blurts out that she knows all about her and Kate and he has to confess everything. In the morning Beth is suddenly arrested and at the police station they show a photo with her and Zane, who turns out to be connected to the Albanian mafia engaged, among other things, in human trafficking. Therefore, the investigation suggests that the girl hired a Syrian to kill her friend, who is the mistress of her husband. Beth is rescued from custody by her lawyer, who immediately says that it is only temporary, as the police simply do not have enough evidence against the suspect yet. Back at the apartment, the girl finds Zane, who he says was let in by Sebastian. And the man tells her that as a doctor in Syria, he saved an Albanian boy's life, and that his father helped Zane get to Croatia illegally. This is where his connection to the Albanian mafia ends. Left alone, Beth begins to wonder how the cops knew about her husband's cheating that she didn't tell them about, and suddenly discovers a hidden camera in the mirror of her room that must have recorded her conversation with Rob. The girl remembers seeing Pavic with Sebastian and seizes a moment in the kitchen to steal her landlord's keys to his apartment, and there she finds a studio with cameras that he uses to keep tabs on his tenants. Beth watches the tape of Friday and learns from it that when she returned from the bar she was just put to bed, after which Kate and her escorts moved to the jacuzzi on the balcony, and when she excused herself to the bathroom, the men stole her purse and fled the apartment. The girl, however, noticing the theft, ran out into the street and rushed in pursuit of the crooks in a cab, and came back in another car with a distinctive bumper sticker. Suddenly Sebastian returns to his apartment and Beth tries to leave. The man excuses himself that he installed the cameras for security purposes and hastily starts erasing all the footage until the girl stops him. When Sebastian comes to, Beth finally rushes out of the apartment and meets Zane outside, to whom she explains along the way that her landlord has been secretly watching the tenants, but has erased all the footage and now she may also face charges of assaulting the man. With the license plate number recorded by Beth from the camera, the couple arrives at the taxicab station, where the TV already reports that the girl is wanted and meets the driver who took Kate away. He reports that he only took the girl to the police station. Suddenly the police officers, including Pavic, called by the head of the taxicab station, appear, whose car Beth recognizes the distinctive sticker on, and chase the couple, breaking away from the pursuit. The girl talks about the detective's car, which may have something to do with Kate's murder, and Zane decides to distract the cops to himself. It works. Only Pavic continues chasing Beth until he drives her to the roof of one of the buildings. The girl screams that he killed her friend because he must have molested her, but she turned him down. The policeman retaliates by calling Kate a slutty girl, but when a colleague shows up he accidentally falls and crashes to his death. In the morning, the detective reports that they were able to recover some of Sebastian's notes and look at some street camera footage, from which she concludes that Pavic did want to hit on the girl after she reported her bag missing, but when she refused, he hurt her head and threw her in the water. To Beth's surprise, the detective explains that her colleague Pavic used to work for the Vice Squad, where detained prostitutes sometimes complained about his harassment, but they all retracted their reports afterwards, and also says that Matteo and Luca did have a drug found on them, which they drugged their victims with. Beth says goodbye to Zane, thanking him for his help, and returns to London, where she allows him to see her daughter occasionally after her divorce from her husband. On one such day, the girl asks Rob for her car keys back, and he asks to look for them in his jacket pocket, and Beth, looking into it, suddenly discovers a stone that fell out of Kate's necklace given to her in Croatia. The girl goes to the bathroom and dials the detective, but is interrupted by her ex-husband. Beth agrees to have tea with him and immediately accuses him of Kate's murder, showing him the stone from the necklace. The man has to tell how he was afraid that his wife would find out about their relationship, and at night he flew to his mistress to ask her to remain silent. Kate, as it turns out, did demand Rob to leave his wife, but only because of the one-time affair he became obsessed and demanded constant meetings, and she did not want such a husband for his best friend. During an argument man and pushed Kate, from which she hit her head on a rock and rolled into the water. Now Rob asks his ex-wife not to turn him in to the police, making excuses for the accident, to which she shows him the phone in which Kovac's voice says that she has recorded everything and has already called the police. Eventually, Beth fights off Rob's attempts to stop her and leaves his apartment with the child at the sound of police sirens approaching the house. That's the detective story we had today in sunny Croatia, but I have a question for you. Do you think if Rob hadn't killed Kate and she had told Beth about it would she have forgiven her best friend? And also please subscribe to the channel, your support is very important to us.